and I seen her home life, and I was like, so the Bible states that God is not the author of confusion. And in both states, in the home and in the building, because church, the word church just means ecclesia,
That's
called
right.
out ones. So we ain't gonna focus just on the church building. That's why I made the statement of it. God's order doesn't change from building to building. So I'm looking, and I used to go in there. I only went in. I wouldn't even went in there initially if I knew she was the pastor. I'm gonna just be honest with you. So I went in there with a friend of mine, and as I got to know her, I just started to see the scripture unravel, and I was like, now this is what the Bible say, and I'm seeing it unfold. So I was like, okay, this even further reason why, if to whoever want to do it, that's on y'all. But I'm cool on it. And I seen it in her life, and I was like, ma'am, I'm gonna just have to respectfully decline. It's no slight to you, but I'm really living what the scriptures say. I ain't perfect, but we finna walk this thing out as much as we can.
I hear you, my brother. I hear you. Very nice. Yes, yes.
So I just seen that in her life, and I was like, okay, this, and it ended badly for the lack
Oh,
of
wow.
going too deep. And I was like, because I ask people, I'd be like, man, am I tripping? Because if you got one set of pants, say you got one set of pants, your wife can't hop in your pants. Because think about this, even emotionally, women are driven by emotions. Do you agree?
They can. That's right.
So a real man, because see, you got little boys who don't know how to handle their emotions, and that's what a lot of people are dealing with. That's why this is so touchy. A little boy or a boy, I don't care if he's 50 to 60 years old, if he don't have his emotions in check, he is a boy who is not he's not ready to lead a family. I'm sorry. I just gotta keep it
That's
real.
right.
So
That's
what
right.
ends up happening, we see that the man is really like, I call it, you have two different sex, but it's basically like a homosexual relationship. I'm gonna say it. Because you got this man acting like a woman and this woman acting like a woman, and they bumping heads. Or either you have this woman acting like a man and this man acting like a man, and they bump heads. That's the same thing as a homosexual relationship in the emotional realm. So
I hear
you
you.
so you have situations to where a man, one of the reasons women are so have that ground is because a man haven't even stepped up and be like, look, he got to teach her, look, I know your father failed you. I know your grandfather failed you, because we got to look at what's really been going on. I never forget, I had a conversation with my mother, and I was going to go on and bash older men. But my mother said, son, you got to really think about that before you do that. And I listened to her, and I got to thinking about older. And it's like men have been dropping the ball for almost 100 years with us. So it's
Very
like,
true.
okay, let's do this. Let's change the narrative. We gonna have to. Some people gonna get mad. If you a sucker, you a sucker, but you don't have to stay a lollipop. Come up out of that. If you not on the lease, man up and get your own crib and be on your own lease.
That's right.
So it's not. I'm saying it to really spark. Hey man, I need to be on my tip. I need to be handling my business, because again, you stated earlier, how can a woman submit to you and you ain't handled your business?
That's so true. That's so true. And the ladies that I talk to, Roland, that's what they want. They want the man to take his position. and they tell me I'm there to help him take his position. But I think men, like you said, men have missed the ball a lot. They have allowed fear to overtake them, and they've missed the ball. And going back to women pastors, I just think God is going to get his agenda accomplished. Whoever steps up. A lot of men haven't really stepped up.
So again, this is my thing. And this is what I told that lady. I was like, so you mean to tell me no man in this congregation, not one, could lead this congregation, not one? And she kind of looked at me. So I'm like, I still can't, even with the context of what you gave earlier, the authority is still, I mean, you feel what I'm saying? It's still in context. So I'm like, okay, I can't go with that, because I see if would you jump in the car with me if you know that I'm finna crash the way I'm driving?
That's right. No, I would not.
And that's what I was saying. I was like, man, no, I'm cool. I'm cool on that, man. It's like, and it's not a knock on, because a lot of people look at, and they even try to paint the Bible as being chauvinist. The Bible encouraged the man to love his woman, to teach his woman, it even goes as far as to sacrifice. It says, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Christ died for the church. So this ain't no easy road. So how you saying, I'm looking at her as part of me, and I'm willing to lay my life down, so I don't look at her as less than. I just know for this to work properly and to really raise up the kingdom of the Most High, we got to do it. We can't do it Roland's way. We can't do it nobody else's way. We got to do it the way that the Most High instructed us to do it.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very
man.
true, my brother.
But see, what happens is, even when women say this is what they want, this is what happens. And I'm pretty sure, I know you done ran across this once or twice. You'll have a man who starts to step up, and the woman isn't used to this type of man. Now she's meeting him with resilience. And he like, hold up. So now he got to fight to establish himself, because her mother is strong. Her mother didn't have a man. And now what ends up happening in a lot of those situations, you have these mothers of these women, like you said, they were starving. So the mother's starving and the daughter's starving. So they end up having emotional incest. And they say, hey, we ain't got nobody else, so we come as a package deal. And the Bible says you have to leave your father and your mother and cleave to your spouse. That's what the Bible says. But if you created this dependency because you were starving, you feel like you can't leave your mother because you feel like your mother is going to starve to death.
That's it, brother. And I think the biggest thing, I think in that situation, Roland, when I tell men, because, I've had men that had that no backbone, as you say, the lollipops. And once he get a revelation, especially the situation with men have been incarcerated and they get out, the woman has taken care of everything, taking care of the bills, taking care of everything. And then he gets back in the home. And what I tell him is, what you got to do, you got to be consistent. You can't come back in that house and saying, all right, woman, look, the man is here. Brother, you can't trust that. He can't trust that. So I said, what you need to do is you need to be consistent, because Roland, that is what a woman needs, consistency. Because see, this is what men do. They try to lead conveniently instead of consistently. You feel me?
I
And
feel
when a
you.
woman sees, when a woman's like, brother, you trying to lead when it's best suited for you, and you're not doing, because a woman, I always tell a man the best way to treat a woman is with a consistent pattern. A woman looks at a pattern. A man looks at incidents. So if a man can prove that you can have a good track record, that's going to help. But when you in and out, do it when it's convenient, brother, that's not going to build trust in that woman. And when a woman is not trusting, yeah, is it right for her to battle against his authority? No, it's not. But if she doesn't trust, she's in survival mode. I just tell a man, just be consistent. Have a good track record of consistency, you know? And when you do that, that builds trust. And then we can get this thing back where it needs to be.
But men also have to understand this. If this woman if her father has dropped the ball, then you come in her life and drop the ball. It's going to take quite some time for you
It is.
And that's why the consistency is key. And you got to understand, when you're dealing with a woman, you got to understand her triggers. Certain things trigger a man, and there's certain things that trigger a woman. So if whoever you with, you got to understand, if you talk to her a certain way, if you look a certain way, it might trigger something from her past, and you might get this reaction, and you be like, hold up. But that's why the Bible say deal with a woman according to, you got to study them, deal with them according to understanding.
That's right. That's right. 1 Peter 3:7. That's right. So a man, he has to become a student of his bride and understand her triggers, understand what she likes. And that's going to take time, you know, just like you said. If that husband, if that father of that woman dropped the ball, yeah, it's gonna take some time. But the time could really help if he was consistent. If he was consistent, that she may buck because she ain't used to this. You know, she ain't used to being treated a certain way or taken care of a certain way. So at first you're like, I don't know how to take this. But as long as he can be consistent with it, that goes a long way. That goes a long way.
Yep, exactly. So let's go to this. Like, would you call it, what you do, life coaching, or I think you call it success coaching for success.
That's exactly right. That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do.
So elaborate on that part, because we touched a lot on the pastor role, and you gave great examples on that. So touch on the coaching for success.
All right. So I'm gonna give you the breakdown. All right.
Okay.
Years ago, Roland, I was a counselor. All right. So what's a counselor? A counselor is a person that has been skilled to help people deal with their problems. Okay. That's what a counselor is. You call a counselor because you have a problem. All right. So I was a counselor. After that, I moved into life coaching. Now, what is life coaching? Life coaching is helping people to develop goals. A life coach or person says, hey, I want to lose weight. I want to do this. So they don't go to a counselor. It's not a problem. They go to a life coach. And that life coach will say, all right, let's try to come up with something to help you achieve your goal. All right. So I've done that. But Roland, this is what I see. I am a success coach. What is that? A success coach is teaching people their original design. Because when I was a counselor, I was like, I'm dealing with people's problems. Then when I went into life coaching, it was all about goal setting. But I'm thinking, wait a minute, if you don't know what your original design is, then you're not going to be able to ever deal with your problems, and you're pretty much not going to be successful in accomplishing goals. So I decided, got some training, and start realizing that I'm a success coach. Because that's the way God originally designed us. He originally designed us to succeed in life. That's our original design. Look at everything on the earth. Look at all of plants and nature. They are designed to succeed. You see what I'm saying? So if nature is designed, look at the animal kingdom. Animal kingdom. Everything is designed in the earth to be properly positioned to do what? Succeed. So why would God create an earth, put nature in it, put the animal kingdom in it, and then put humans and not want them to do the same thing nature and animals are doing? So like I said, when we first started, we were created to succeed, but sadly our culture and how we've been conditioned is to really promote us to struggle and survive. You know, society says what? Get a good education so you can get a good job and what? Work for somebody else and then die. Come on, my friend, what is that? You working for somebody else 40, 60, 80 hours a week, and then at the end you retire, and within 5 years you die because you done broke down your body. I'm thinking that's survival. That's not success. So I love what I do. Now it is truly an uphill battle because I'm going against how we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to just struggle, survive. You ask people, what's going on? Man, I'm just surviving. I'm just trying to get to week. I'm just trying to get to paycheck to paycheck. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear that, I realize, and I ask, everywhere I go, I always ask people, do you like what you do? Well, it's a job. It's a job. I really don't like it, but look, I got to do something to pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear that, Roland, I'm already realizing, oh my God. Oh, because see, like I said, when I first started with my dad worked a job he did not like at all. My dad always wanted to be a pastor, Roland, but for some reason he didn't develop enough courage to just start a ministry. I don't know. He just didn't do that. So he ended up tolerating working on a job that he did not like. And after he retired, within 5 years, he died. And I just realized too many people out there are living that kind of life. And I'm trying to do everything I can to help people realize, that's not how you got to go out. That's not. What kind of life is that? Because this is what I realized, Roland. When you hit 50, or around 50, your subconscious mind is going to bring up a question to your conscious mind. And that question is, are you fulfilled in your life, or were you fulfilled in your life? Now, Roland, you only got two answers. Either yes, you were,
or no.
Or no. Now, what I've seen with people is they try to avoid the question by not trying to answer it. Come on. They try, okay, I'm gonna just, you're 50, so you're not ready to retire. So you just keep working and just try to block out the question. But that question is going to keep coming until you answer it. You see what I'm saying? So I look at my dad. When he hit 50, that question, are you fulfilled in your life? Were you fulfilled in your life? He didn't try to answer it until he ended up retiring. So when he retired, he didn't have anything. That's why I say the best thing to do is don't retire, transition into something else. Because when he retired, all of that energy of working every day just sat inside of him because he wasn't going anywhere. So now all he got is but time to answer that question. And he ultimately had to answer it. No, I wasn't. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't fulfilled in my life. Now, what happens when you say, no, I wasn't fulfilled, and you don't do anything to change it, the seed of regret starts to settle inside of you. That's what I saw my dad. He started letting regret, and it ended up tackling his health, and he ended up dying. So, my huge responsibility in this earth is to help people to realize you don't have to go out like that. You can succeed. There are principles that I give to help people understand. And one of the first principles, Roland, is discovering your purpose. I always say it like this. Everybody know when they were born. Everybody know their birthday, but very few people know why they were born. And the whole culmination of the quality of your life is not based on when you were born, but it's based on knowing why you were born. So I help people discover their purpose, because that's the first step in really living, understanding why you're here on this earth.
True. And I tell people all the time, like, alluding to what you stated earlier, you call it conditioning, I call it programming. That's why I call this show the Deprogram show. We, like you said, we are programmed or conditioned to go to school, get a good job, go work for somebody else. And I've stated this on the show before. So you mean to tell me you spent what 16 to 20 years to go and apply for a job for somebody else? That, I mean, to me, that don't make sense. I mean, it just don't. And I ask people, even if you work a job, if you dedicate 40 to 80 hours a week for somebody else, you can't do it for yourself.
That's right. That's right.
So come on, man. We stuck on this rat race. And then I tell people, do you know that most Fortune 500 company owners are dropouts?
That's right.
So why you telling somebody to go to school, get a good job, and get an education, then you going to apply for a job for somebody who has no quote unquote education? That's backwards.
That's right. That's right, my friend. That's right. So right. And that's why we got to get it right. We got to get it right.
Man, I'm gonna have to get you back on here, man, because it was a pleasure, man. And like I said, we don't always have to agree totally, but it's good to have healthy dialogue. And I believe this was truly healthy.
Excellent, Roland. I do appreciate you. I appreciate your platform. I appreciate the discussion. And hey, long as you get people talking, like you said, the whole goal in life is never to agree on everything, because we got different perspectives, and you want to appreciate that. But you keeping the dialogue going, and I like that, and I think that's crucial right now. That is crucial. I like that.
So before we get out of here, what do you want to leave the people with, Dr. Banks?
Well, again, thank you, Roland, so much for this platform, and I just want to let people know to challenge themselves, to challenge the way they think. You know, they say, birds can fly over your head, but you determine whether they set a nest on it, on your head. Well, that's the same thing with thoughts. You got so many thoughts coming in your mind, but you determine which one takes root in your mind. So I want always for people to ask questions and ask, am I successful? Am I really doing enough to really succeed in my life? So I really want people to challenge. If you don't like where you are in your life, start asking your questions. Start asking yourself questions to get yourself to think, I don't like where I am in my life, then what do I need to do to change it? So I just really appreciate what you're doing. And the biggest thing that I want to let people know in the audience is that they can succeed. But it's important for them to challenge and go against the status quo. You really want to succeed, you're going to have to go against the status quo.
I totally agree. And before we get out of here, tell the people where they can find you at.
Well, I have a Facebook group called Noble Success Group. It's on Facebook. That's where I do a lot of my different programs that I do. So Noble Success Group. is a great platform. Also, I'm on Instagram, Noble Success DB. So I'm on Instagram as well. So definitely feel free to look me up. And yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure. This is the Deprogram Show. I'm your host, RMJR, and we had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. David Banks, and we out.